I remember somebody telling me before I got married, it is better a broken engagement than a broken marriage. No one loves divorce. It impacts everyone, from the people who are involved, to the children, to the relatives, to the friends. Everyone is affected when marriage ends up in divorce. We don't like it. We don't want it. It is not something we anticipate, but it happens. And 60% of the reasons, apart from unfaithfulness, 60% of the reasons beyond unfaithfulness that cause to the end of a marriage are finances. And the major reason why this happens as regards to finances is because people do not talk about money. I know that you are in love, and I know the subject of money is not exactly romantic. But when you say you are in courtship, this is the time you talk about issues deep down, go into a deep dive, check out everything about the attitudes of this person, and especially their beliefs about money, and also their own financial situations. Have these conversations, because when you're already married, you're already in a fix. Even legally, if you are married to someone who is in debt, you have acquired that debt. So you get somebody's love, but also their debts. You may be entitled to their assets, but also their liabilities. That is where the problem comes in, because people don't talk about these things when they are dating, when they're in courtship. The first thing that you need to talk about is debt. How much debt do you have? Do you have student debt? Do you have car debt? Do you have what kind of debt do you have? Is it good debt, that is debt that you took to buy an asset or to invest? Or is it bad debt that you bought for consumption purposes? So you took a loan to feed yourself and pay your rent when you had overspent all your money on other things. What kind of debt is it? How much interest rate do you have on that debt? Talk about all these things, because if you're going to give somebody your heart, you're also going to give them your money, because the debt that they have will be inherited. You will inherit the same debt when you get married, or the assets that you have will be attached to the debt that they have. Any escalation beyond that person affects you directly. So what is the debt that they have? Talk about it in depth. It is sometimes shameful, but it creates a certain kind of bond, because you know this person and they were open to you from the start. I have never met anyone who entered into the conversation about debt and left each other at the altar because you have so much debt. What I have seen is people decide to take a little bit more time before they get married as somebody handles their own financial situation. That one I have seen. But I've not seen people who are breaking up because of talking about debt. So talk about it. Be open about it. Be frank about it. Be candid about it. Expose and be weak about it, because sometimes sin festers in the darkness. So sometimes your bad financial habits as regards to debt as a result of you not talking about it. Another thing is, talk about income. I hear people always say, oh, I cannot tell my spouse all my income, or I cannot do this. Think about it. You lay your life on the line every day that you sleep. You sleep next to this person. They can wake up one day and decide that you're going to finish you, and they can. In fact, you sleep and have a sound sleep when you're next to them. You don't know whether they can wake up and decide to finish you. So what is money? If you lay your life for them, that they can be able to do anything with it at any time, why are you afraid of sharing with them your income, sharing them with your password and things like that? There were so many instances when we were growing up of our uncles who had assets that their families never knew about. So somebody dies, but they had other properties, and these properties are only known to their friends, and their friends take advantage because the family does not know. These things used to happen. But talk about your income. How much do you have? Talk about your wealth. Where have you invested? Where have you acquired land? Where are you in a partnership, in a business? How many shares do you have, and where? There's an institution called the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. It has so much money that is held simply because it has never been claimed, because people invested in secrecy away from their spouses, away from their children, and this money is benefiting the state instead of children. You may even be shocked that some of these children are languishing in poverty and struggling after the demise of this person, because person never showed his family where his assets are and his wealth. So disclose all these things, because fine, they might think like you are not as rich and as you seem, but if they leave because you show that you are not as wealthy as they assumed, maybe they are not the person that you needed to be with. Maybe they were just there for the things that they can be able to get from you. So you can even be a sieve to be able to sieve out the character of a person that you need to marry, as opposed to somebody who is there for the shiny things that they are seeing. Are they escaping poverty, or are they really in love with you? Talk about wealth. Talk about financial commitments. Do you have financial commitments? Is your income going to go to places that you have already determined? Do you have family that you are educating? Do you have family that you are supporting? Do you have social contributions that you are doing? Do you have causes that you have? Do you have children that are with another spouse, somebody who was your former spouse that you are supporting? Are you paying alimony? What are your financial commitments? Do you have loans that you are paying? So that you don't just show them your big income, but this income is already going to many other financial commitments that this other person may need to support you to some extent. You also need to talk about goals. What are your financial goals? Sometimes you will be shocked when you talk to couples in a financial session and you realize that these two people goals are so different. One is thinking, I need money so that I can be comfortable. Another person is thinking, I need money so that I can escape poverty. So that is their financial goal. I need money so that I can travel. That is another financial goal. But when these goals are completely different from each other, it becomes problematic. Maybe one wants to have money so that they can be able to afford shiny things, while the other person wants to have money so that they can be able to invest and have something to be inherited by their children. These two financial goals will be in conflict with each other. Talk about these things, because only when you talk about things will you be able to know and understand from their perspective. And sometimes when you understand from their perspective, you are a little less judgmental and a little less harsh on these people and their beliefs about money. So talk about the financial goals that they have. If there are no financial goals, have financial goals before you walk down the aisle. Where are you heading? Just like in your marriage, you're saying you want to live and you want to have children and you want to have a happy life. That is a marriage goal. Then what is your financial goal? Because remember, marriage is strained when finances are strained. But having goals will keep you focused despite the financial circumstances at that current time. Because you will always think, we are heading somewhere. We are struggling now. We are heading somewhere because you have a goal. It's the same thing with people who save and invest. You cannot be able to consistently save and invest if you do not have a financial goal in mind. So have a financial goal and talk about it and be able to revise it, be able to plan about it, be able to add, minus, because it is not a static thing, but it's something that is dynamic and can change as your financial circumstances change, or as your expectations change, as your family grows, and all these things. So talk about goals. The other thing is talk about fears. What are your fears about money? What causes you to lack sleep in the middle of the night as regards to money? Are you fearful that you'll not be able to pay your expenses? Talk about it, because when the thick and thin happen in marriage, the fears are going to cause you to separate. The fears are going to cause you to have anguish and anxiety, not against your partner, but against your own fears as regards to money and finances. Talk about attitudes. What are your attitudes towards money? Talk about it. Are there people who feel money gives them power? And they're the kind of people who are most likely going to manipulate others because they have money, because other people around them manipulated them because of money. Think about people who have rich relatives who are always having all the control and saying everything that is required in the whole extended family, and you have no say. So they use their money to manipulate others to do what they want. What are their attitudes about money? Because remember, some people react in many ways. You need to be able to separate. They are not reacting to me as a person that they love, but they are reacting to the attitudes that they already possess as regards to money. Talk about expectation. What do you expect? Do you want us to split the bill? Do you want us to have a unified approach as regards to finances? Which I really recommend if you can be able to do, because then you can be able to support each other however the circumstances change. You're able to control and hedge one another, because I have noted that opposites usually attract. The person who is very conservative about money, the person who saves and invests diligently, is more likely attracted to the person who enjoys seeing a few shiny things. When these two people come together and they do not put their finances together, one will go down the financial drain and depend on the one who is more financially prudent. But when they are together, they will always check one another. They will always be like, you spent some money, was it necessary? You're keeping so much money in the bank. Do we really need all this money? We have not really enjoyed this money. We have earned it, we have not enjoyed it. Then you can be able to have a more balanced approach as regards to money. But a lot of people do a lot of funny things and they don't really know what to do about it. Then the other thing is also to talk about home ownership. Home ownership, because a home is most likely going to be the biggest asset the average family will have. In fact, there are people who beyond their own personal home have no other financial assets. So their home becomes the biggest thing in their lives and the most financially relevant thing, because cars depreciate, all these other become expenses, and the house is the one thing that is probably going to be the biggest asset that you're going to have as a family. So talk about it. Do you expect to have a big palatial home? How are you going to finance it? Do you expect to rent forever? How do you go about it? How do you measure how much house you actually need? Because I have met people who have conflicts as regards to the house that they want. One wants a big palatial home. The other finds it unnecessary. The two people conflict with one another. How do they go about it? Because when you put too much money in a big palatial home, you will not have enough money to save, invest, grow, have some passive incomes that are going to help you in your retirement, and leave some inheritance for your children. Remember also, big houses come with certain expenses for maintenance. You may need people who are going to take care of the gardens, people who are going to take care of the cleaning. You may need to pay more in maintenance cost. And if maintenance cost, as I have always given it as a percentage of the house of 1%, if your house is going to be worth 10 million shillings, then you're going to expect that every year you're going to give at least 100,000 Kenya shillings towards painting it, maintaining it, changing this, the tiles are breaking, the toilet is leaking. 100,000. So if your house is going to be big, this standing charge of maintenance is also going to be big. People need to talk about these things, but people enter into marriage in a bubble. You talk about love and you enjoy this love, and then reality hits the ground, the rubber meets the road, and you start struggling. I don't want you to struggle as regards to money. Talk about it beforehand. Know whether you're going to buy into this marriage or you're going to come with reservations from the start, so that when expectations are broken, you are likely going to say, but I knew and I actually accepted these terms because this is the way this person is and I'm okay with, as opposed to saying that, oh, I was shocked, I was surprised because you are talking too much about how sweet sausages in a certain hotel were, as opposed to talking about your financial affairs, your expectations, your goals, and the things you need to talk about as regards to finances. I hope you're learning, you're growing, you're becoming better in your financial affairs. I want people to be financially stable. And I want families to be financially stable, not divorcing because of money or separating because of money or struggling because of money. Because you're supposed to use money, not allow money to dictate your life. I hope you're learning, you're growing, you're becoming better in your finances. My name is George Kingo.